give him a little round of applause.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
What's up? We got Greg Foss and Jeff Booth. Woo! 2 Canadian All-Stars. Let's give them a round of applause. All right. Thanks, gents. All right, so yeah, go ahead and get to know Surfer Jim, guys.
I just found out Greg's a surfer.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
stoked to meet another Bitcoin surfer.
So
right?
yeah, man. So and Marty Bent's a surfer too. So it's funny. There's a community, but yeah. So I just showed Surfer Jim a picture of my son. At 3 years old, I was walking him out on the beach, and then 20 years later, he's tucked in a nice tube. And then Surfer Jim shows me a picture of him in Mexico in a wave that's like, it must be 15 feet Hawaiian, 15 feet Hawaiian, or maybe 12 feet Hawaiian. Anyway, huge surf. The guy is a legend. So there you go. Surfer Jim has a little card that shows the benefit of Bitcoins right here.
He passes this out.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
You can learn about Bitcoin and then see Surfer Jim crushing it in Mexico on his gun, his 7.2 gun. So
that's genius. You know, it reminds me of like the little card you'd take in, sneak into the test with like tiny little writing. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's perfect. He's got everything there.
That was my first thought of how can I help promote Bitcoin. I learned a long time ago that as a contractor, no one wants to take financial advice from me. So if you just give them the information straight to the source, maybe they'll look at it. So I just hand it to them. They take it out of their pocket when they get home. Maybe they learn, maybe they don't. But it's all signal, all people I trust, books, websites, podcasts, people on Twitter. So I just keep handing them out, man. It's just spread the word, right?
How many have you handed out?
Oh, like 500 at least. Yeah, over the last couple of years. So it's whatever. It's just one way to do it.
So this is the coolest thing about the Bitcoin community. When you meet guys with different, from different walks of life that believe in something that's so important. So I want to give a shout out to my buddy from Canada that I've only met personally. This is the first time this weekend we met personally, but this guy wrote the best book literally, and I haven't read that many books in my life, but this is the best book that I've ever read in my life. It's called The Price of Tomorrow by Jeff Booth. You have to read that friggin' book, all right? It is packed full of knowledge. It only has about maybe 5 pages devoted to Bitcoin. Okay, 1 page, okay? But here's the cool thing. It just walks you through all the cool things that have happened in technology. It gives you real good statistics. It's full of debt statistics. So that's my experience. And I love the book. It's the best book, bar none, that I've ever read. The second best one, read Long-Term Capital Management, When Genius Failed. Okay? 1998, the story of long-term capital management and how fucked up the financial system was even in 1998. Okay, do your homework. Your kids demand it.
Hey, Greg, I was feeling really good until I realized you only read 2 books.
I took the Coles notes on the long-term capital management version. So,
and for those of you that are in the Swan tent with us, on the opposite side, we got VJ Koyapate.
Oh, is he signing again?
Book of The Bullish Case for Bitcoin, another seminal piece by an awesome, smart dude.
BJ.
Raise your hand if you've read The Bullish Case for Bitcoin, the article.
No, the article for
the
sure.
article.
Yeah.
If you haven't, you do not know enough about Bitcoin
It's
yet.
like 5 people. No one wanted to raise their hands.
They may not be able to hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us. You guys can hear us, right? Well enough? All right. We can turn that up a little bit maybe. All right. Yeah, VJ is in the back there. So if you're outside listening, VJ Boy Potty's in here signing The Bullish Case for Bitcoin, the new expanded edition. I can't wait to dive into it. Forward by Michael Saylor, which is pretty cool.
Is that right, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Jim, how's it been, man, to kind of deal with this sort of sudden growth in your profile, on Twitter when you went head to head with Chamath?
It's been unique and amazing, but I'm glad you asked me the question. Not that I want to answer that exact question, but I'll try to. I got some pushback for going on podcasts that some people don't think I should have gone on, and I see a lot of crap about people saying, why would you go to this shitcoin conference when you could stack sats? And I've been going to meetings and conferences for years because I just want to meet people and I want to know if what I believe is correct. I want to double check. It's like don't trust, verify. And all I did was make friends for 4 years. And all of a sudden, a shitload of more people heard about who I was, but I have not changed one bit. And I was accepted into this community for just who I was at that time. I have not changed. And I feel so blessed. The amount of love I feel from the crowd of people in this place, all the new friends I've met. I got friends all over the world I've never had before. I am blown away. And the bottom line is, we are all ideologically aligned. And it's like meeting your long lost friend.
Yeah.
It's like instant connection.
Yep.
And if you think spending whatever amount of money to come here is not worth it, you do not get life. This is fucking life right here. This is life to its fullest. Enjoying it. I mean, if you got to prioritize and stack sats because you can't do this. It's more important. I get that, but do not dismiss how valuable this is. I don't care if it's a shitcoin conference. There's solid Bitcoiners here that are worth meeting. It's just amazing.
This is a Bitcoin only room here. Bitcoin only.
Well,
this is a safe space.
That I know.
Right here. All right, Jeff, how's the conference been for you, man? You know, I'm sure been getting a lot of love. How much has it meant to you to meet all these Bitcoiners in person?
Humble. Jim just said it perfectly. You actually don't really know how you show up until you come into something like this and you get to see everybody. And it's been wild. Like it's so touching.
Yeah.
Because I can't walk anywhere without getting photos and everything else mobbed. But it's Jim said it perfectly. The people in this room, the people around here are such incredible people. We're going through a time in our lives that very rarely does the world go through a transition like this.
Right.
And all of the people in this transition, you're going to look back on this 10 years from now and create friendships for life. And it's just a really special moment in time.
It's absolutely a special moment. And I feel privileged to be here, you know, so early in this, and to be able to, you know, be fortunate enough to understand what's going on at such an early stage. There's maybe 2% of people that, you know, maybe less, that really have gone through the effort, you know, to really study Bitcoin for 50, 100, you know, some of us 1,000 hours, whatever it is, and really understand it on a deep level, and be able to, you know, have the conviction about what's coming, right?
Like it's a superpower. You have a cheat code.
I like that. I like when you say that.
You have a cheat code for life.
Yeah, it's a cheat code.
Yeah.
You all are here for the dawn of the Bitcoin Renaissance.
So I have a cool thing. Do you guys know who Dylan Leclerc is? Yes. Dylan Leclerc. Okay, Dylan Leclerc's BTC. Okay, look him up. He's 19 years old. He was at University of Vermont for 1 year. And he said he was in economics at University of Vermont. And he goes, I couldn't take it anymore. What was his line was the Keynesian brainwashing was killing me. He goes, I left UVM after 1 year, and I've studied Bitcoin ever since. He's one of the smartest kids under the age of 20 that you will meet in the Bitcoin space. So again, Dylan Leclerc, this is what gives me hope. As a 57-year-old old fart who just got onto Twitter, I just understood the power of Twitter a year ago, all right? I know one thing. There's a good chance I may not get back into Canada after I called out the Prime Minister in our speech on the. I called him. I said he was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. So I'll repeat that for my wife, who is going to kill me. But here's the truth: do your research, you guys. This is the most important thing for your kids that you can do. Okay, I've traded risk for 30 years. This is the best trade I have ever seen. And I'm not saying with 100% certainty. You just have to do probability analysis. Do your research. And don't listen to the fudsters who just read and don't study mathematics. They just read, oh, Elon said this, so therefore it must be right. Elon's a fucking moron. Okay? So just do your own math. Do your own math.
Hey, can I just add to what he said? Everybody in this room is part of a renaissance in humanity. Every single person here, 1,000 years, they're going to look back and say, who are those bold human beings who took a stand against the bullshit?
Amen.
We are changing the world forever. Make no mistake,
Forever,
everybody
Laura.
here is just as important as everybody else.
Attaboy.
No doubt.
Attaboy.
Yeah. So that whole thing, it actually proves Bitcoin's case. It's exactly why, if you trust a currency to be centralized, that's what it'll look like. Somebody could change your mind and you've lost your freedom forever. By the way, that is the fight we're fighting for. That is the fight Bitcoin forever changes. What ends up happening is we move fraud from below the line to truth. And governments have to. One thing I'd say is a lot of people on Bitcoin try to get all the way to the end from the beginning, and they don't need to. They're measuring a government right now based on fraud. Government's based on fraud and inflation and theft right now, and they're measuring that system like it would look in the new system. It wouldn't look anything like that,
Right?
Because the government has to get smaller because they have to they have to tell you the truth on taxes where you want to live. And just that change, we don't have to change everything else. That change is enough to change everything else. Everything else just moves that way faster. So I deal with a whole bunch of startups, and some startups want to tackle the long-term vision before they got the first step. And sometimes I see in Bitcoin, a lot of people so committed to the security, the privacy. Privacy wouldn't matter if government didn't look like it looks like today.
Yeah.
It would dramatically change. I care about privacy, but it wouldn't look anything like it today. Solving the first thing, getting this thing adopted across everybody for reasons that are way more important than money, is the thing that's it's unstoppable.
So this is you guys are in Canada, but this is a kind of a question about America. In Canada, it applies to Canada too, it applies anywhere, but I feel like Bitcoin has sort of gone under the radar in terms of being politicized at this point. It's a little bit politicized, but I feel like there's going to be a very much more intensity around Bitcoin and politics, and a divide, on left and right. And I think that, energy is definitely going to be part of that, and we're going to see a lot more energy FUD because it's one of those things, right? I can't remember the phrase. There's a name for this, but it's extremely hard to refute. Like, it takes far longer to refute than it takes to say it. You can say it in 3 sentences, but then you have to explain it. It takes hours.
No, I think that's another thing, that Bitcoiners are fighting the wrong battle on energy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Put the battle back on the system. How is an inflationary system that is always printing money to grow forever consistent with a finite world, consistent with a climate change? Have anybody answer that question, and then you put that system on the defense. It is true, but right now everybody's fighting the Bitcoin cleans the world faster energy. Like, you're down the level, and that's all true, but it's too hard to comprehend for people. Have the existing system defend itself on how it's possible to solve energy through climate change, through a system that has to grow forever and will manipulate money to do so. Start there.
And by the way, every single advance in human productivity has been accompanied by an improvement in their energy infrastructure or in their energy technology, okay? We are withdrawing nuclear energy, which is the most efficient energy production, at exactly the wrong time, okay? These decisions are being made by people without consideration of the costs and benefits, all right? I'm involved in an energy company called Validus Power back in Canada. I would love to be able to announce to the world at some point that the province of Alberta has added a substantial amount of Bitcoin to their treasury. I can't make that announcement, but nothing would make me more proud from an energy intensive province like Alberta to realize there's so much wasted and stranded energy in Alberta that's not being used properly. They should become a Bitcoin province and teach the country of Canada how to manage their reserves, because Canada sold all of our gold in 2016. I mentioned in today's speech on the floor with Jeff, Canada has less gold than Haiti. Now, nothing against Haiti, but Jesus Murphy, we should have more gold than Haiti, okay? We have many more gold mines than Haiti. It's an oxymoron. I guess that's what goes with the Trudeau government, right? When you have, these sorts of things happening. But look, you got to do mathematics. You got to understand the true ESG components of energy. You think that a windmill does not take 26 tons of steel to build? 26 tons of steel that will never be repaid back by the energy used to make that steel by a wind turbine that's turning, unless that wind turbine is in a pure energy field that sometimes where the wind blows 18 knots is the ideal. Sometimes those are offshore. As if you're looking out into Chesapeake Bay and you see these very environmentally friendly windmills, come on, guys. It doesn't work from an energy mathematical equation, and sometimes it doesn't work from a low frequency, the noise factors these things are making. But someone said they're environmentally friendly, so we got to run with it. It's really poor mathematics, and it's actually sometimes outright lying, in my opinion.
Absolutely, yeah. Jeff, I want to hear you talk about for a minute the idea that Bitcoin. So let me go back to this for just a second. I see this being politicized. I think it's easy to make these arguments. I love your point about the argument that we should be making first. It makes perfect sense to me. I still think it's going to get politicized, no doubt about that. But I feel like we could make the case that Bitcoin is freedom money, right? And this is Alex Gladstein is doing a great job sort of making the case that is going to be receptive to the same people who will be receptive to the energy FUD, right? And that I think encounter this is more important than the energy FUD, and maybe would make them sort of back off or reconsider.
Okay. So do I expect that there's going to be way more, when I call them soft state attack vectors, or people like Elon that might have had a tap for ESG and said, all your we're going to take away your ESG credits, so you better come on side. I expect way more of that. I expect a lot. So Bitcoin will be bumpy because of that. It's just starting. But name another technology ever that empowered humanity that government could stop. This is impossible to stop. You will not stop this, because for a government to try to stop this, or for every government to try to stop this, what they have to say is we don't care about empowering people. We care about control on them. And that's the unfortunate truth. So let's fight that battle. Like when you talk about, so we don't need to get into the weeds on all these other things. Let's hold our governments accountable for empowering human rights. Let's hold our governments for empowering people. How could you say no to a technology? Ask any representative how you could say no to a technology that empowers people.
Hey, can I ask a question to these two smart guys?
Yes, please, Jim.
I listened to Cynthia Lummis yesterday, and I forget the other gentleman, Congressman
Warren.
Thank
Warren
you.
Davidson.
And I really appreciate that they're trying to change government, but as I see it, government controls the money, and I don't see them shooting themselves in the foot on purpose to get rid of their own power. But I do see individuals that are government. It's only just a collection of people, one by one, saying, wait a minute, I better get me some of that. And as soon as they do, now they don't want to wreck it. And I just see the changeover happening organically, not at a legislative level ever.
Totally. So
Thank you.
Jim just nailed that. I'm in lots of talks. Greg and I are in some of these talks with individual representatives that are already Bitcoiners, that already understand this. We give government too much power. It's just a system reinforcing itself on itself that has no idea how to get out of the system. It's made of people, mostly good. There are a whole bunch of bad actors too, but mostly trying to do a good job. And if they don't, somebody else will replace them. That's what's gonna happen. A whole
And,
bunch
and
of
actually,
people. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but to take that one step further, some of these older people in government, they're going to retire and die, and some younger people who get this might want to, help with government and get involved in a slow generational
So,
shift.
Jim, that's actually why I want to build on. If we give, instead of fighting the fight, if we give the speaking notes to people that want to run for office, how can you stop? How would you stop technology that's empowering human beings? Why do you want to do that? So you're saying you want to control credit and everything. You want to inflate and steal forever. If you gave the speaking notes to people who are running through an election process with what's happening in this community, how fast this community is building, who do you think would be in power? It just changes really fast. We have to give the speaking notes to be able to speak on a unified how important this is in a way that a lot of the community can understand.
So, Jim, I'm going to paraphrase. I might get my statistics wrong, but in general, the magnitude will be right. I believe in 1900, the U.S. government accounted for 3% of the U.S. GDP, and right now, the U.S. government accounts for over 25% of U.S. GDP. Okay, it just shows you the growth of government in our economy, and therefore why there is that. Hey, I've got to protect my ability to print money because, after all, it's supporting my ability to have 25% of GDP in government.
Yep.
So yes,
And that cushy paycheck they give themselves.
but remember this, guys, and this is from yesterday. Who's the guy? Nick Szabo goes, use Bitcoin as your savings account, but use fiat as your checking account. Think of it that way. There would be two parallel systems that exist. You need to save in Bitcoin, and you need to do commerce in US dollar fiat. Because have you guys heard this story about a guy? He's walking through town and he's got a cow for sale for $600,000. Okay, and he's walking through town, and the townspeople are like, "You're gonna sell that cow for $600,000? That's a good one." And 3 days later, he's walking through town with 3 chickens. And some guy says, "Hey, I told you you'd never sell your cow for $600,000." And he goes, "Damn right I did. I sold it for these 3 $200,000 chickens." Okay, that's all fiat is. It's just to keep a measurement or a unit of account. Your house is not going up in value. I hate to break the news to you. It's the unit of account is going down in value. All right. Bitcoin is the perfect hard asset ever created. Use it as your store of value. Use it as your savings account, and use fiat, which is good at non-bartering, non-3 chickens for a cow, but use it as your checking account, right? The two systems need to exist in parallel because we do not want it to unravel. We don't want anarchy. We just want to have a vehicle that'll protect our hard work and our energy. That's simple.
It is going to unravel. At some point,
it's only math. It's only math.
At some point, it unravels.
Yeah, it's only math.
And the more people on this revolution, the better that state is. That's actually why it's so important to bring more people on. That's what that is the game. It's going to unravel. It is going to happen. It has to.
Can I just ask for a sort of solidarity with everybody here? We are all advocates. Even if you red pill one person, it's just one more person that needs to understand that this is really important. So please spread the word every minute of every day. What are you doing? My card that I give out. I give out a business card so people could just go home and look up resources. Go make your own business card. PS print online, $25 for like 500 of them. It could have words, graphics, just put stuff on there.
Surfer Jim, my kids thank you, okay?
Why, they saw that?
No, but I'm thanking you on behalf of my kids because, guys, it's not about me, 57 years old. It's about my kids, and it's about your kids, and it's about the 30-year-olds like Dylan LeClaire, under 20-year-olds like Dylan LeClaire. It's going to help change the world for the better, okay? Don't give up the fight. If I don't get back in Canada, I'm moving to Miami. I'm just going to let you know that, all right? So thank you very much. I got to run, Brady, okay? So...